Okay.
We are live. Yes.
So, here we are, Hockey Feber UK Streaming Series 2021, and it's with me and David, and we are so honored and pleased to have one of the biggest UK hockey YouTuber. It's Oddman Rush from Great Britain,
Hey.
and we
Super
are
happy
so
to have you.
honored to have you here. Mr. Hayden, as we can call you too, as you said we could.
I like that. Mr. Hayden has a nice ring to it.
All right, yeah. Well, we're so happy to have you. So
And
happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah. For those of the viewers that haven't so big knowledge of who you are, when did you begin to start your YouTube channel, and where does your interest of ice hockey come from?
Okay, so I started my channel in 2015, I believe. I believe I uploaded my first video on the channel early August of 2015. I created the channel in March of that year, but I didn't post anything on there until the August, I believe. And it was between when I'd finished what we call here sixth form, so 16 to 18-year-old, like the qualifications you get there before you then go to university. I started the channel during that long summer I had before I went off to university. And I've been doing it ever since. I've got to the point where I'm uploading 2 videos a week. I used to do loads more, less edited, sort of quantity over quality back in the day, like lots of video game NHL stuff. But as I've gone along, I found a bit of a niche that works for me. I did at university, I did a performing arts degree and like a drama degree. So I'm a very like creative storytelling kind of person. That's what I enjoy the most. So that's why a lot of people that watch my channel know that I make a lot of story-based videos. But in terms of where my sort of love for the sport came, it's back in kind of 2010, 2011 was when it really kicked off. So I've told the story a few times, and I hope I'm keeping it consistent every time I tell it, but we'll see. So every year when I was younger, my family and I would usually take our summer vacation somewhere in America. It'd be in one of the states of America, because my dad would usually go to he's an engineer, and there'd be a big engineers conference out there, so he'd go and attend the event, take part in the event, but he'd also bring the rest of us with him so we could have a nice vacation in America. I mean, I can't really complain with that, can I?
No.
We went like all over America and Canada. It's been like 7-8 years, something like that. Like so a pretty long time. Very lucky to be able to do that. Like absolutely, not everyone gets that opportunity, especially when they're so young. And one year, my dad decided to buy me, because I'm a huge video game guy. I love video games, whether it's hockey games or anything in general. I'm currently playing through a back catalogue of the PlayStation 4 games, because I'm usually an Xbox guy, but I picked up a PlayStation 4 Pro when Black Friday was on. Because, you know, the Series X and the PlayStation 5, you couldn't get one anywhere in the world. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna get a PlayStation, buy all the PlayStation exclusives. I'm currently playing through Days Gone, which I'm really enjoying actually. But anyway, I digress. So
I love it too.
I played NHL 2004. NHL 2004 was the game that my dad bought me. Which, I mean, if you're gonna pick a game to be your introduction into the world of ice hockey, NHL 2004 is like the piece de resistance, you know, like it's wonderful. Such a great game. Still the best game in the series, hands down. Far better than NHL 21. I don't care what anybody says. So I played it a little bit after my dad bought it for me, like once we'd come home from the vacation, because it was the PC version, so you have to install it on your computer, and you have to wait for all the files to go in. Back in the day, so I played it for a little while, got bored of it, because I'm like a 12, 13-year-old kid. It's like you've got a million different things running around your head at the time. And then a little while later, it must have been like a year or two afterwards. So I must have originally got the game in about 2008, 2009. A year or so later, it was just one of those weekends where it was like a school holiday or something, like school vacation. I'm sitting there, I've played the other video games that I wanted to play, I've done all of my homework or whatever, like I don't have anything else to do in the world. Do you remember back in the day when you were like 12 or 13, you had nothing to do? Those are the days, right? I picked up NHL 2004. I saw it sitting there, I just like, oh, well, I guess I'll give this another go. Like I played it a little bit, but you know, I guess I'll give it a go. And that was in about 2010, 2011. About 10 years later, here we are. I've been running a channel for 6 years. It's done quite well. I've been talking about hockey, watching hockey for the last decade or so, which compared to a lot of fans isn't a huge amount of time, but for a UK fan, I'm quite proud of that. It does kind of scare me, though, the fact that my first big memory of the NHL is watching the Boston Bruins win the 2011 Cup. And now that's 10 years ago. That's kind of terrifying. But other than that, you know, I'm having a great time. And yeah, that's kind of where it spawned from. And then, as I said, I made the channel in 2015. Started making hockey content because it's not really popular here. It's not really a huge thing. Most people in this country have no idea we have a hockey team, let alone a professional or semi-professional league here. So, so it's kind of did it to connect with other people, and here we are.
What a story!
But
I was thinking about the video games too. You say 2000 the NHL 2004 is like the equivalent to the Super Nintendo. I happen to be a video game fan myself, especially retro video. Nice. Before was my favorite when I was younger.
Of course.
And then actually I saw your live stream of NHL 94 Rewind, and I complimented you on some goals there you did, and you replied, and I thought that was
Thank you. You know, because I didn't really play NHL 94 when it first came out, obviously, because I think when it first came out, this is kind of the scary thing. I hope I'm not aging you guys at all, but like I wasn't born yet. So it's kind of like, it makes you realize like how long the NHL series has been running, and obviously it's been super successful. Nowadays, it's a very contentious subject. A lot of fans still like it. A lot of fans don't like it. I'm very much under the impression that it's okay, but it gets really boring really quickly. You know, like I miss the like NHL 13, 14 days. You know, where it's like Hockey Ultimate Team wasn't as big as it was. It wasn't this huge cash grab. Like there were no in-game transactions or whatever, and franchise mode was incredible because I'm a huge like be a pro franchise mode guy. Like a lot of my content back in the day on my channel was all about that. So I love like, you know, getting your hands on a roster and kind of making it your own and being able to take charge of it, and the choices you make lead to whether you do well or not. So
I'm the same type of person. I
Good choice.
The reason why I began to see you on YouTube was when you had the London Lions.
Okay.
So
that's taken me back a few years.
So I really like it. So I looked at it extremely many times. So I really. I also like that build-up feeling, you know, when you have to create the team and select the players and the small things. It's the best.
Absolutely,
When all is done, you want to do it all over again. The building part is the best part.
Absolutely. Just like, especially, I've always been a big fan of the trade deadline day and free agency. Like, free agency day is always so exciting, like seeing all of those new players changing teams, and like a guy that spent 7 years with one team, he ends up signing a massive contract somewhere else. And you're like, oh, this player's now playing for a team on the complete other side of the world. Like, he's left the only team he's ever played for, and now he's joined this team. Like, I love all of that, like seeing where all the players move to from year to year. And it's funny. I tried to, a couple of weeks ago, it might have been about a month ago now, I did a live stream in NHL 21, and I tried to, it was a difficult job in the first place, but to try and make the Buffalo Sabres an actual competent hockey team this season, which, you know, the Buffalo Sabres have done recently, that's a difficult task.
It's a hard time being a Buffalo fan. I'm a Buffalo fan, so it's
hard.
It's a hard
no. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
I haven't talked to David about that actually. I just know.
I have to stick with him to be the true fan.
Absolutely, exactly. Yeah, I mean, the problem is, how long have you been following them for?
It's like, you know, when Dominik Hasek played.
I mean, that's a good time to become a Sabres fan.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny you mentioned Hasek, actually. I'm making a video in which he's being mentioned. I'm hoping to upload it over the next couple of days. But I'm talking about, and this would be quite relevant, I think, to the podcast you guys run, the Spengler Cup. I don't know if you guys know about the Spengler Cup. The big international competition held in Davos, Switzerland every year. And I'm basically taking a look at the top 10 former NHL players that played in the tournament, and Dominik Hasek was on there. He played during his final year as a hockey player. He was 46 at the time, which shocks me, because obviously he left the NHL 43. He then skipped a year, played a year back home in the Czech Republic, which obviously he played there for a huge amount of time before the NHL. And then he finished his career in the KHL of all places, and he suited up with Spartak Moscow in the Spengler Cup. So, yeah. I mean, that's a good time. Wow, there has been such a steep decline from those days.
Yeah, but still, I have to stick. I'm like that, you know. You choose a team and you hold on to it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Without a doubt. I mean, it's like I've sat there a few times, and like people have asked me, because I'm a New York Rangers fan, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people have sat there and asked me, like, okay, Hayden, like, why are you a New York Rangers fan, Hayden? And I'm like, actually, like, when you ask me about it, I don't know. Like I don't have a concrete reason. I think it might be a huge. The good thing is he's doing okay now with all of the kind of difficulties he's had during the off season, and supposed to be joining the Capitals, etc., etc. But the King in New York and all of that, and the fact that it was just the team that I kind of gravitated towards the most when I started following hockey, and I kind of knew some of the players, some of the players' names on the roster quicker than I did some of the other teams. And I mean, I've been quite lucky in terms of my fandom. I've been following them since kind of 2022. I'm still not happy with Alec Martinez of the Los Angeles Kings. I'll never forgive him for what he did in that game. Then I've obviously seen them go to conference finals. We've had this rebuild recently, obviously, but we got a second overall pick, a first overall pick, and things are starting to look better now. So, I mean, of all the teams I could support, like, the Rangers isn't a bad pick, and I'm sorry, David, but at least it's not Buffalo. You know?
Actually, it's 2 Rangers fan and 1 Buffalo fan.
We got
Martin
two
is
Rangers fan and 1
nice.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Do you see that guy in the corner there? I don't know. I'm a very small square, but there's a little guy there. He's a goalie. Do you see that, Hayden? Who it is?
Nice.
It's Lundqvist.
Oh, yeah?
Henrik Lundqvist. He's so small
Nice.
here.
Martin made him.
I made it. It's
Nice.
a beat sprite in Mega Man Henrik Lundqvist mashup that I made. So that's why I love Rangers too. It's basically the first reason it was because of Henrik Lundqvist, of course. I'm a goalie myself, so obviously I love goalies, and that's the best part I like about hockey. I love hockey in general, but goalie play, that's really my biggest interest in hockey. So that's how I got into everything.
Of course.
Yeah. Gosh.
Nice. Then we had a little introduction from you, who you are, for those of them that look at us now, and
we love your
a little bit more.
We love your style of telling stories, Hayden. I mean, your videos are I mean, your level of commitment and how you tell the story, we love that. It's so nice to hear.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
And I really like, the part when you do this, whatever happened.
Yes, a lot of people seem to like those videos, which I'm very proud of.
Too.
Yeah. So really, really great build up and everything. I have just to fill in with Martin. Yeah. I agree completely. No,
thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Like, I'm very much under the impression, because YouTube is at the moment currently a full-time thing for me. I'm now in a position where, I'm making a decent chunk of change on the side with it. Nothing too crazy. I'm not one of those million subscriber channels that, could pay off a house every 5 minutes or anything like that. But, I'm making enough that, I can commit the time to it and, focus on it 100%. And, I'm very much, I'm a huge perfectionist. I like to work hard on what I do. So the fact that, when I make my videos to my channel, I'm very much under the impression, I would imagine a lot of creators take pride in their work like this as well. If you're going to do it, if you're going to tell a story about a player's career, I want to do it right. I want to tell all of the like important details. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that you have to brush over because otherwise it'd be a 90-minute video every single time you release. Which the video I uploaded yesterday about Devontae Smith-Pelly. I sat there and I was like, oh right, I've written this script because like my research and my script writing is a huge chunk of the video, because some people might think, oh, he just goes on Wikipedia and looks at how many points that he scored, but it's like that's part of it, yes, but also I like to know, like, okay, when did he sign contracts, when was he traded, why was he traded, and all the extra pieces of information that make it, instead of like listing points to this is what happened to him kind of thing.
I watched that yesterday. It was big. It was you couldn't tell there was a large portion of work behind it, as with every video. But there was, I think it was half an hour or something like that. No.
Yeah, it was it was about 27 minutes, including the ad that I had included in it. But like, so I just released the Sergei Mozyakin video last week, which was 31 minutes by the end of it, and I was like,
that was super.
Oh, thank you. And I was sat there looking at it. I was like, okay, so I made a 31-minute video. I had to sit there and think, when was the last time I made a video over half an hour long? And I thought, okay, it's been a while. But I thought, you know what? This guy is the best player in KHL history. He's dominated the league ever since it begun. He's as I say in the title, he's the GOAT of that league. So, and he's been playing since the late 90s. So I'm like, look, if I'm going to do a video on this guy, I need to do it right. I need to go from the very beginning of his career, talk about his time during the Russian Super League and everything like that. But then flip forward to this Devontae Smith-Pelly video, I'm like, oh, okay, perfect. Like, his career wasn't as long. He didn't score as many points. He won a Stanley Cup, but like compared to a guy like Mozyakin, you could argue it wasn't as successful, for want of a better term. And I'm like, oh, okay, this will be a shorter script. I like counted up how many paragraphs I'd written. I was like, oh, okay, there's a lot less paragraphs than usual. This is good. Okay, it should be like a nice, like 20-minute video by the time I'm finished with it. And then it's like, I look at it after I finish editing, once I've added like the ad in the middle and, you know, like the Patreon shout outs at the end. It's like 27 minutes. I'm like, how do I keep doing this every single time? I sit down, make a video, and it ends up being at least 25 minutes long. Like, I've got to stop doing this.
That's actually how I feel about me and David's videos first. Like, what's happening? Is it really still that long? Because we've had like 20 minutes and 25. We've only had 5 episodes, but I felt like, wow, it's long, and we're editing it, but it's still pretty. We got some material.
And I think for us, we have two parts. Martin is the technical, and I have I think. But if we had respect for YouTubers before, we have even more now, because it's hard work to put together. You know? Yeah,
so I think that's a really good point, especially like you notice how much like how difficult, or not necessarily difficult, but how time consuming a lot of the stuff is when there's 2 of you, right? And then you see all of the channels that are either pumping out a video a day or like 2 30-minute videos a week or whatever, and they're just doing it by themselves. Like, obviously I'm not sitting here being like, oh, feel sorry for me, everyone. I do all the work by myself. But like, I also exactly. But like, and also with you guys, all of the success that you've had has been because of what you two have done. Like, it's not been anybody else. It's not been, you haven't had like 6 or 7 other people trying to help you out. Like, it's not a studio where you're like on a network television and you've got like 20 different people working on the show. Like, I, as somebody that enjoys working hard and putting the effort in and kind of giving it 110%, and which is, I think, kind of counteracts my perfectionist kind of ideas. Like, if I'm not happy with the video, then I'm not putting it out, kind of thing. Because obviously I want to work really hard and I want to see it succeed. You always want to see like the next video do better than the last, but that's not always the way it goes, and all this stuff. But I love the fact that the success that I've had on my channel has all been me. Like, it's all been my hard work. And like there'll probably come a point where, you know, if I get successful enough and it gets big enough that I might start hiring an editor or a thumbnail guy, or, you know, like adding a few new people into the mix. But at the end of the day, like, the first 6 years, when you actually think about that, like, I've managed to create this community of hockey fans that like listening to the stories that I tell them for the last 6 years. Like, I could be doing this for the last 6 years and have 1/10 of the success that I've had. So like if there's people like, especially for you guys as well, like what you're doing, just hard work and luck. That's all it is. You have to be good to be lucky and lucky to be good, right?
Yeah. And
I think.
Sorry, I think I'm on delay. David, you go. Sorry.
Yeah, we talked to each other in the beginning, me and Martin, and we said we have a goal which we aim for, but we also have to remind ourselves in which point we are now, so that we are in a learning progress.
Absolutely.
So, even if we look at something that we do now and we feel that we want to do it even better, then we know at least that we did our best just that time.
Absolutely. And that learning never stops.
No.
Like you constantly keep learning. Like well, one of the YouTubers that I watch occasionally, 5 Points Vids, I actually did a video with him several years back, and it was one of the first kind of big bumps to my subscriber count. I gained like an extra couple of hundred subscribers, and I felt like it was the best day in the world, you know, like when you get that first big break and you're like, oh my god, like it might actually be happening. He very much says, like, if you look to I don't really keep too much contact with him nowadays, but he's a great guy, and he does some really great videos. And he very much says, like, look, if you try and improve one thing in each of your uploads, then you're making progress regardless.
Right.
And you know, it might just be the way that you deliver the information that you're talking about, the technical quality, the way you edit it, the length of the video to suit your viewer base a little bit more. It could be it could be all manner of different things.
Exactly.
So
that's what I felt personally. Like right now, it's I've developed some things, and it's been just a few things in every episode. But like the main thing, that's the most only thing that is really, really important is that you love what you do, and that's what both me and David does, and that's basically all that matters. The rest will just come as you progress, and that's how I feel like we're already doing.
Yeah, and like I said, and that we have to, for us, me and Martin, that we have to remind ourselves to keep that perspective that we want, so we don't do so. Begin to be too wide, you know. So we just keep to the plan that we have from the beginning, because then we know that it will be fun for us, and then we show our dedication better if we do something that we really feel is right for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to enjoy it at the end of the day. There will obviously be parts of it that you don't enjoy. Like I sat there from, I think, about 10 o'clock in the morning yesterday till about 7 in the afternoon, finishing off editing my video yesterday, which was the large chunk of it. So, and I probably could have done a little bit more in the day before, but you know, what can you do?
I know the feeling.
It's the end of March. Come on. Yeah, absolutely. And so like, the editing side of it, the editing that I do is very basic. It's very minimal. I'd love to show NHL clips, but then it would be copywritten by the NHL in 0.001 seconds. So it's obviously pictures are the only way that I can do that. And, you know, there's lots of hoops that you need to jump through and all these different things that you have to think about as your channel grows and everything. But the researching, I love the research part of it. I love looking at these players' careers and being like, oh, it turns out that after their 10-year career in the NHL, they went on to play 5 years in Switzerland. Like, I find that stuff really interesting, whereas a lot of other people that maybe just follow the NHL or only interested in the NHL and maybe don't cover the wider hockey world in Europe and elsewhere, they might not find that stuff interesting, whereas I do. And that's, I think, why I focused so much on the whatever happened to, is because I'm genuinely interested, like, oh, this player that was in the league, what actually happened to him? Oh, he's playing in the KHL and he's doing really well this season. I want to talk about that. That's pretty cool. Whereas a lot of people just be like, cut it at the end of where his career ended. It's almost as if like, oh, when his NHL career is done, that's it. Nobody cares anymore. Whereas I do. If anything, I find the stuff after the NHL more interesting. Because there's more variety to it, and there's more. Like, they might go playing 5 years in the NHL in the same team and scoring the same points, you know?
You can see it also in, like, if you look at the Swedish league, some of the Swedish players may go to NHL and they decide to go back to Sweden. Then for like maybe 2 years, they can have a chance to go back. And this later now, you have seen even older Swedish hockey players come and take a chance at the NHL. So I mean, it's never too late.
Exactly. And I mean, I made a video on 10 former NHL players that are playing in the Swedish Hockey League or have played in the Swedish Hockey League this year. So that kind of mini series that I've been running seems to have done quite well, and people enjoy the fact that they're learning about either former players on their team or just former NHLers that, you know, are still active players. And obviously, once they leave the NHL, the amount of coverage surrounding them, especially in North America and kind of the wider hockey world, unless you're a fan in that domestic league or whatever, then obviously you know more about them. So,
and that's exactly what we've been. Sorry if I'm interrupting you. I think I'm on delay.
No,
I'm on
Martin,
delay. I think I'm sorry, but that's exactly a big point of our channel, me and David's channel. And it's the same philosophy as yours. Like, there's so many levels of hockey that's not covered. But people have the same commitment, and it doesn't really matter which level you're on if you have the commitment. And we love just doing this research work, like all over the world. Like where can you find players with commitment, and which leagues are here, and which players come here, and it's exactly what you're describing is our whole point with the channel.
And like we want to have the opportunity to show the smaller hockey countries with the big hockey stars. You know, like we think of all the kids that follow games in not the biggest hockey countries. Like they have posters in their rooms. Like that's my biggest idol. Like in their own country, like we want to do about those teams, and not only the Swedish or NHL, and like enlighten the hockey viewers.
And that's such an important thing to do. Absolutely, because my co-host of my podcast, Chris, he always uses the word. We use the term grassroots football here in the UK. He kind of also uses the term grassroots hockey, you know, kind of like, you know, the junior levels, the kind of like little league games with the, you know, young kids learning to skate for the first time and everything like that. So Pro Puck podcast, where we talk about hockey all over Europe, it's like we noticed that we're on the Hockey Podcast Network, and we noticed that they don't actually have a podcast just talking about European hockey. It's all NHL all the time. And it's like the NHL obviously is a monster in the hockey world. It's the biggest, best, greatest hockey league in the world, I should say. So of course it's going to get the majority of the attention. Of course it is. But there's also the Swedish Hockey League, the Finnish Liga, the KHL, the Czech Extraliga, the Polish League, the Austrian Ice Hockey League. They might not make the most money. They might not be the best of the best in the league, or they might have once been the best of the best, but they're no longer quite playing at that level and need to take a step down. But once again, like as we've seen with the Champions Hockey League, there's some very competitive teams in every single league. Like, I mean, we saw the Nottingham Panthers make it through to the playoffs of the Champions Hockey League, like a team making it that far against the likes of TPS Turku with the Finnish League, Mountfield HK of the Czech Extra League. Like, that's, for us, that seems impossible, but we managed to do it. I mean, we got completely destroyed by Zurich in the first round of the playoffs, but I mean, a team like Zurich, you would expect that, you know.
But in certain parts in Sweden, it's really big. Like for example, in Gothenburg, is CHL. It's really big.
Yeah, because they win it every year.
But you know, I think it's strange when you call yourself a big hockey country as Sweden, that I think you should have the respect to look at the competition for what it is. Each teams of each country had earned their place to come there.
Absolutely.
So if an English team, for an example, have won something to earn to get that place, how could the team get the place otherwise?
There's a perfect example of that. The Continental Cup that takes place every
Yeah.
single year. You know, there's 4, 5, 6 teams that are invited to the final event. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. It's been a while since the Continental Cup was held, obviously, because of the pandemic and everything. Hey, great. You notice the Nottingham Panthers, their first spot in the Champions Hockey League ever was because they won the Continental Cup. And if you win the Continental Cup, which is basically the second tier underneath the Champions Hockey League, it secured them a place in the Champions Hockey League. It wasn't because they won the Elite League season. It's because it meant that we had 2 teams in the Champions Hockey League that year. I think it was a Nottingham and Cardiff. So
I agree. But what I mean is, like, each team in some way have anyway earned their place to get to the CHL.
They're the champions of their respective league. They've had to be the best of the best against their own competition, haven't they?
So I mean, I have talked to Martin about it, and I have friends that disagree with me, and I stand my point on that I really like the CHL.
I love it.
I think it's exciting. So
it is.
If I have a chance to sit a Saturday evening to see a French team against the Austrian team, then I do it because I like hockey.
It's fun. Why not? Like, how often do you get the chance to do that if not for the Champions Hockey League? And the Vaxshire Lakers might come in and defeat, the Cardiff Devils 8-3 or something like that. Of course. But we saw that in the NHL last night. The New York Rangers beat Philly 8-3. They beat them 9-0 a couple of days ago. Like, even at the highest level of competition, that's still something that happens. So just because it's a French team losing 8-3 instead of the Philadelphia Flyers doesn't mean that it's not any less entertaining a game.
No.
So yeah.
So I really I really like that competition. So
Me too.
I sharing it on. So I hope the times will get better. Of course it will, and we can enjoy it the way we want to.
Yes, please. I'd like that very much.
Very nice to talk hockey. We can talk for hours.
For hours. How about EIHL, like the streaming? The streaming
EIHL.
series. Should we have a little chit chat about this series coming up?
Dig into it.
Maybe
do you want me to give you guys like a rough overview of what it is?
Like, maybe I should. Maybe.
No, go for it. Go for it. Don't let me steal your thunder, Martin. Come on, off you go.
Well, we got 4 teams in this. It's like a mini series. It's normally 11 teams, and the 4 teams that are up for this, and it's a mini series that's coming up it will be played for 5 weeks. It will start in the beginning of April. We got Coventry Blaze, Nottingham Panthers, we got Sheffield Steelers, and Manchester Storm. And it will be played, I believe, 24 matches, and then the final is the best of 3. And they had when they organized all this, the aim was to a big aim was to have as many British players as possible to like have them up to date for the upcoming World Cup in May in Riga, in Latvia. So that's how they that's like a plan for this little. And then they had the draft. That was what you were gonna get into, David.
Sorry if I interrupt. And the host will be the Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. That's right. And that's
so the final will be best of 3, right?
Final will be in best of 3.
Yeah. So it's 24 regular season games. Then the semi-final of the playoffs is 1 game each, and then it's a 3-game final series.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, Martin.
No, I was finished there. We have that was the presentation of the whole concept. Then we had the draft, but
Martin,
I don't know.
I thought you did great.
Oh, thank you, Hayden. Thank you. I'm so pleased to hear that from
you. We are very interested, Hayden, to hear your thoughts and view on this series and which team. We know that your favorite team is Nottingham. So we just want you to share your thoughts on the squads and what you think about it, and if it's any certain player in the certain squads? Because we have prepared some notes for ourselves.
Sure. Okay.
Players and so on.
I should also add that I do also have a Sheffield Steelers home jersey as well, but I feel like if I wear both of them at the same time, a fan of either team might come and try and beat me up. So
I have to say, when we said the teams of NHL, I'm actually a Sheffield Steelers fan.
Yes, I remember you mentioning. Yeah. I mean,
So-
you could certainly pick a lot worse in the Elite League. So at least you got one of them right.
Yeah. I used to sit in the morning, early in the mornings, look at the Steelers TV at YouTube.
Nice. Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
With Jonathan Fernley, I believe, is the commentator for them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a big dream to go to Sheffield and see a home game.
I mean, I've been there several times, and like it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, actually, it wasn't for a Steelers game, but my first kind of proper hockey media gig. There was a charity game held at the it's the Fly DSA Arena, I believe it is at the time. There was a charity game held there for to help kind of raise money for concussion charities, because obviously concussions are a huge problem in hockey. From the smallest incident to the big career-ending ones, they obviously can stay with players for a long time. They're very, very serious, and I'm glad that over the last kind of decade or so that sports leagues have started to take this thing seriously, because it does have an impact on these players' long-term health. So there was this it's called the Ice Hockey Super Series UK was what it was called. I think it was in 2018. It was a little while ago, although this whole like lockdowns and pandemic has kind of destroyed my concept of time. Like it feels like it started like 2 minutes ago, but we've been here for a year now. But anyway, so yeah, they were holding a charity game there where it was Canada versus the US, and they got lots of former NHL players, still active hockey players in Canada and the UK that came to play for this charity game, and they invited me to the arena. They let me. I was invited to the arena as part of the media. I got to go sit up in the press box and just kind of document my trip there, and it was really cool. Like the Fly DSA Arena is a really nice arena. It's one of the best ones in the Elite League. We've got several nice ones. There's a bit of a disparity between the top arenas in our country and the lower ones. Like for example, no offense to the Dundee Stars in the Elite League, they are one of the smaller teams within our league. The ice that they play on can house about 2,500 people, and when you play against them, the face-off circles have like the curling like paint around them. So obviously it's not like an only purpose hockey arena. So like it goes to show you, like we have the big kind of 7,000-8,000 seater arenas like the SSE Arena in Belfast, the Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham, the Fly DSA Arena in Sheffield. And then we've obviously got the smaller arenas as well. But anyway, the Elite Series. So yes, this looks like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. As somebody that we obviously haven't had hockey in this country since must be the end of the regular season last year, because I don't think we had a playoffs last year. So we're talking about a year since we had professional hockey being played in this country. So the fact that we're getting that back in some capacity is great. Whether it's a glorified training camp for our GB players, whether it's a competitive tournament, whether there's anything on the line for it or not, I don't think any UK hockey fans really care all that much. I would imagine the fans of teams that aren't taking part in the tournament might care a little bit more. But certainly the fans of the four teams are just happy that hockey's back. And that's the sentiment that I've seen from a lot of fans in general. So in terms of the teams, the draft, like you mentioned, took place a little while ago. I believe we've got just over a week until the tour starts. I believe it's April 4th, I want to say, is when it kicks off. I might be wrong on that, but it's something like April 4th, I believe. Now, in terms of how the teams have been structured, the way things usually go here in the UK, for those of you who might not be aware, the majority of our rosters are primarily made up of import players. Because the UK hockey system isn't as strong as the Swedish or the Finnish or the Swiss or the North Americans. So we only have a certain crop of players that we can pick from. And there's only a certain, the kind of talent level. In order to keep the talent level of the league as high as it possibly can be, the league has decided, and this is a normal thing, not just a this season thing, to prioritize imports. I can't remember how many imports there are. I believe it's 13 to 14 imports on a roster, which is obviously over half the roster. That's a huge chunk of a team's roster for a season is imports. And that's very similar, I think, for or slightly similar. I think it might be between 7 to 10 imports for this tournament, because obviously it's a lot more short notice than a regular season, and there's lots of players are obviously playing in elsewhere in the hockey world, and obviously we want to get our British players the biggest chance to get some ice time as possible. So the draft took place to kind of divvy up all of the British players around the league. And in terms of the rosters, I think if you want my kind of brief summary of them, I think the Sheffield Steelers, they have the best group of British players on their roster, hands down. They have had on their roster the best crop of British players for several years now. The fact that they've managed to get Liam Kirk, our former 7th round draft pick by the Arizona Coyotes, kind of the first player to be born and completely trained in Great Britain to be drafted into the NHL. That's a huge steal for them. So they already had solid guys on their team, Jonathan Phillips, Davy Phillips. There's no word whether Ben O'Connor's going to be joining the team, although he didn't have the best season with the Steelers last year. So there's going to be, the Steelers are going to be a contender. There's no denying that. They have a great group of British players.
Yeah.
The Nottingham Panthers, their trade to pick up Ben, brilliant idea. As a Nottingham Pan, I love that.
They have their best goalie in the whole series, I think.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Ben Bounds.
No doubt.
Yeah, Ben Bounds is the best netminder in the league. He has been, or he's been either one of, if not the best netminder year in, year out for the last half a decade. He's played this last season in Hockey League, so he's been playing above a step up in competition compared to his usual Elite League competition, so that's good as well.
He played like 13 games, I think.
Yeah, he suffered from an injury halfway through his tenure, but he managed to come back for the end of the year and play a few more games, which was good to see. We managed to interview him on our podcast while he was recovering from his injury, so he picked a good time for us, but maybe not a good time for him because he probably didn't want to be sitting there on the injured reserve list. But yeah, so also Jackson Whistle, former Sheffield Steeler in his own right. Their tandem, they've got the best goalie tandem in the Elite Awards and their experience in the Elite League. Ben Bounds, Jackson Whistle tandem that's going to steal you some games, whether that be in the regular season or the playoffs. In terms of their forward group or in terms of the other players they've got, I think they've got some nice players there, but I don't think they have, or they're British players, I don't think necessarily the Steelers ones do, like the Robert Dowds and the Liam Kirks, who are going to be lighting up the league, I would imagine. So,
you know,
go for it.
One of my personal favorites in Sheffield Steelers is Robert Dowd.
He's a great player. He's such a great goal scorer. Dowdy's great.
And Liam Kirk, he played in Sweden.
He did.
In Hornhals.
He did,
outside of Gothenburg. So I think he did like 10 points overall in his of his games for Division 1.
Yeah, he played pretty well, all things considered. And the really good thing was the coach of the Sheffield Steelers, Aaron Fox, he helped Liam Kirk get that gig in Sweden. So like, it's obviously like, you know, all the relationships and friendships that they have there within the organization. The Panthers, the group that their protected list for the draft, they managed to pick up keep some good guys. Brett Pelini's a solid player. He's going to be a good point scorer, but he was the only real offensive threat that they kind of kept on their roster. To be fair, in terms of Robert Farmer, who was a big Nottingham Panther player, former Nottingham Panther, who's been playing in Germany the last couple of years. He's not taking part in the tournament, so that's a blow to the Nottingham Panthers. Robert Lakovic, he used to be a good goal scorer, but he's now more of a two-way guy, a more defensively minded player. He's going to be good down their lineup, of course. He always is. But in terms of pure goal scoring, Brett Pelini's kind of the only one they had. So I would imagine their thought process was, okay, well, we're going to stack our defense, stack our goaltending, and then we'll get loads of import players to come and fill out the forward core and make it higher scoring. Players that have already played so far this season and have kind of got their goal scoring rhythm going. The Coventry Blaze, I find them a really interesting team. They've gone really young, and I like that.
Young.
I like that.
Yeah. And about Sweden, they have a player called Samuel Duggan.
Yes. Yeah. Sam Duggan.
Played in Sweden, Segeltorp, and he has also played in many in Örebro, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
So he had played in Sweden for a couple of years, and he he did really well this season. So he did 39 games and 24 points.
Nice. Okay.
He did 11 goals and 13 assists for
Nice.
Segelsport.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a guy like Duggan, he hasn't quite broken out at the elite league level yet. He's kind of been one of those guys that he's been seen as a younger player, more of a prospect for the last few years. There's several of them in the elite league system, but he's the kind of guy that I think his opportunity to maybe play higher up in the lineup with Coventry during this tournament, maybe top 6, maybe even top line minutes, playing with some other younger guys, maybe some more experienced vets, and kind of getting more ice time and a bigger opportunity to make an impact in the game. I feel like this could be an opportunity for him to break out at kind of the elite league level. So,
yeah. Did he play for the Cardiff Devils?
Yes. He's been playing for the Cardiff Devils for the last few years, and he's been kind of, obviously Cardiff have been a championship winning team the last few seasons. So the fact that he's been playing lower down the lineup isn't completely a testament to where his game is at. It's also the fact that he's playing against some championship caliber players above him in the lineup as well. So both things kind of go hand in hand. So in Coventry, they also picked up a younger netminder, and I think they picked up Stephen Murphy as well, who's an older, more experienced guy. So he should help kind of hold down the fort there in the net. So I like Coventry's kind of going for a team that they could surprise how well they do in this tournament if the young guys manage to step up and kind of live up to their potential a little bit. If they don't, then we might see them struggle. But I feel opportunity here to step up and kind of show that they deserve to play important minutes for that roster.
And
like
they got Will Bray there, 35. What was the young team like Coventry? Tom Rutgers, Will Bray. Well, they got. I just wanted to say that I have the same feeling about Coventry Blaze.
Yeah,
but we'll maybe.
You're right. Like Tom's Rutgers. Of course. Like Tom's Rutgers, Will Bray. Like they've got several different players there that we could see them, as depth players in the bottom lines, backup netminders, or we could see them if they manage to, step it up and do a really good job this season and kind of prove they belong there. We could see them top line minutes, top pair. Essentially the sky's the limit for them. And I feel like head coach Danny Stewart of the Coventry Blaze is going to give those guys an opportunity to shine. And why not? It's their chance to take it. Obviously, it's a shortened period of time, but you never know. This might set them up for with a gig next season, whether that be in the UK or elsewhere. Like if they show that they deserve that place and they can play well, sky's the limit for them essentially. And then finally, the Manchester Storm. The Manchester Storm's an interesting one. I'm not quite sure what to think about the Manchester Storm. They've always, for context, they've always been a team that's kind of they've been a team that's been, for the most part, apart from 1 year where they finished as the 3rd seed or the third place in the league, they've very much been a team that's been competing for a lower spot in the playoff race. They've always been more towards the bottom of the standings. They haven't got the same pedigree of players as the Sheffields or the Nottinghams. Their arena's not as big. They're kind of seen as, and this might, I don't want this to sound insulting to Manchester fans, but their team is very much kind of seen as like the little brother to the arena teams. It's kind of like, it's kind of like the younger sibling that's kind of there and tries his best, but it doesn't always work out. And they get a little bit annoyed at the fact that it doesn't always work out. And credit to Manchester, they have some solid players in this lineup for this tournament. They obviously traded away the first overall pick, which they could have had the chance to pick up Ben Bounds, which would have worked nicely for them. I think that would have really helped them. But, they managed to pick up. And this is something important that I mentioned when Chris and I, my co-host on our podcast, talked about this on our podcast when the draft had just been done. The fact that, so they gave up the first overall pick. They dropped one spot with the pick that they swapped for the first overall pick. They got 2 more picks in that trade as well. And I think with the final pick, they managed to move up 6 spots in the draft order, which when there's only 4 teams picking and there's only 40 selections, moving up 6 spots can get you a pretty solid player in the draft. Now, I don't have the list of the players drafted in front of me, but you never know. That might end up paying dividends for them later on once the season actually gets underway. I think it's going to be fun. I'm very much expecting, this might just be my bias or it might be based on kind of on paper these teams. I'm very much expecting a Sheffield Nottingham final. I mean, Coventry, if they manage to live up to their potential, could get there. Manchester, they've exceeded expectations before. They might be able to do it again. But kind of judging on the calibers of players, whether it be their British players or the guys they've been bringing in, I feel like it's going to be a Sheffield-Nottingham final. I'm not quite sure which way it's going to go, so I'll be curious to know what you guys think about that.
Man, wow, yeah. And I've been feeling like you, David, you've been trying to say something about something now. But yeah, okay, David, go ahead.
Yeah, Manchester Storm, I thought a player that doesn't play there anymore, he's retired, that I liked him from Manchester Storm was Luke Moffat.
Yes.
Yeah. I think he was also captain, was he?
Oh, I think so. He might have been.
Yeah. So that was a player that I really liked from Manchester Storm about that. And also a player that they have now is Dallas Earhart.
Yes, Dallas Earhart. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
He's solid. He's a GB player as well. He's like a depth defenseman for them, but he's like Team GB caliber. So he's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
So when I the first player I think of.
Yes, absolutely.
Because and when I actually looked at the video when the trainers was talking about their different kind of players, the trainer of Manchester Storm actually said that he was the first player he wanted to select for the team. Interesting. Yeah, because he felt like he was a big piece of the construction of the whole team. Like he have as I thought really big feelings connected to the club, and that it was important to
absolutely. It's probably worth mentioning just before we move on from Manchester or whatever you guys got planned next. Kieran Long moving back to the Manchester Storm as well. He played the last year with the Belfast Giants. He had been with the, I believe it's Kieran Long. He spent time with Manchester before that, and by the looks of it, Storm fans are very happy to have him back. He's a solid player. He's a decent goal scorer. So he should help bolster their top six a little bit more, and maybe help them, make a pretty competitive run in the tournament. Because we don't really know a huge amount about all of these players and all of these teams, and it's all very much like it's starting in 10 days, and there's going to be games, two games a day or games every day for the next however long. It really is anybody's tournament to take. Yeah, so, and I think that's going to be the fun part about it. You know.
Yeah. Like it's they have the same how do you say same start point to get to success. You know, nobody
Indeed.
else get any shortcuts to get to the final. And it's like you said, it's really special this year because of the pandemic and COVID. So I mean, I really think this will be exciting and really good games.
Yeah, it will
Definitely.
be exciting in that way,
Yeah.
short and sweet. It's so action packed. Be a lot of important games. Should we give a quick should we have a selected team that we think that will win, or do we want to? Like, we think we know.
Which one will begin?
Do you want to begin, Hayden?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Okay, so if I had to pick a team, I don't want to go bias and say the Nottingham Panthers just because it's the Nottingham Panthers. I think if I had to pick a team, I feel like I've got to go with my gut here and say the Sheffield Steelers, because they've got a solid group of players there already. Now they didn't keep a goaltender in their expansion or their draft protected group or whatever. So goaltending might not be the strongest for them. Obviously, they've supplemented that with import players and all of that stuff, which it's been very interesting to see the amount of import players that have joined the Elite League from either the college system in North America or the Norwegian League, because for those of you who don't know, the Norwegian League basically cancelled their season a couple of days ago, and they hadn't played since.
That too.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, they obviously hadn't played since January, So it's kind of like, well, if these guys want to earn a little chunk of change before the end of the season, why don't you come over here and finish off the year? So it's good. It means it's good that the teams can pick up some of those players on a hot streak in Norway. Although I wouldn't say it's much of a hot streak now. It's been 2 months since they played, but yeah. So I'm gonna have to go the Sheffield Steelers. I think with Kirky, with Robert Dowd, with Jonathan Phillips, those guys are all very clutch. They know what to do. They've got Davy Phillips on the back end. They've got some solid D-men. They've got some returning guys as well from their from their rosters previously, like a couple of former Challenge Cup winners with them last season have come back. So several guys that are also quite familiar with the system and with the coaching staff and how to play the Sheffield Steelers style of hockey. So I feel like all of those little intangibles will be enough, regardless of who they play, to help take them through to the finals. So I'm going to go the
Yeah. Martin, do you want to go?
Me? Oh, I was going to suggest you, but I can go. Well, the underdog. Well, it's the interesting team, as we talked about earlier, because it's a young team, Coventry Blaze. Just because I would love them to. Well, I think it's young team, and they had some Norwegians just some days ago. Three Norwegians coming in.
Yeah,
and then
I think Nikolai Brynolfsen.
Yeah.
From Stavanger Oilers. He had played there before. He played the season 18-19, and he did 42 points in 60 games.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. So hopefully there will be some
in the Norwegian league. Stavanger is a top team, so he's a really good defender.
And then we have Tom Rutgers. He used to play for the Cardiff Devils, and I used to live in Cardiff, so I thought, well, why not?
Why not?
And I just thought, well, I went with my gut feeling there, and I thought, like, well, not Coventry Blaze. It feels good. That's what I felt. And then we got Will Bray, picked 35th, like a backup goaltender, I guess he will be. But yeah, Coventry Blaze. That's my pick, and I'm excited to follow them. Okay, David.
Interesting.
You go.
Yeah. The easy way to say this could be Sheffield Steelers, but if I want to say something more, then I think just like Hayden and also Martin said, that the interesting thing about this series now, because of the special situation, is that I think even if certain teams have bigger and stronger names on the paper, I think each team can build energy in to have had too long for this time to come, so they will have really much energy to come out and play. So in that perspective, I think it's very open. But if I have to say something, I actually, and I don't say it because I'm a Sheffield Steelers fan, I think that the team that Sheffield have is really, really strong. And the weak part about the team, not saying that they are bad goalies, but I think the weakest part of Sheffield is the goalie part. So I have to say Sheffield Steelers, and when they play against Nottingham Panthers, it's really good excitement. So that would be a great final. And but I also think that Coventry Blaze is a team that can surprise because of their mixture of young and hungry players.
Well, I feel like I've been taking an underdog, and it will be fun if they win.
Yeah, go for it. Everyone loves an underdog.
Yeah. My short answer is Sheffield Steelers, but it's who they will meet. It's between Nottingham Panthers or Coventry. I can actually not decide. It's really
there's no love for Manchester here on this podcast, is there?
Yeah.
Sorry, Manchester.
I think they are too weak, actually. Even if they have Dallas, I think they are too. But I think maybe they get fuel of that people doesn't.
You know what?
Exactly.
I will say about the Manchester Storm. they may not go all the way. They may not win the tournament, but they'll give it a good go, and they will drop the gloves with you if they want to. So
Right.
you know, it will be entertaining hockey, and you know, in a summer, like in a shorter tournament like that, that's all you can really ask for at the end of the day, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, this is what David tells.
I really think it.
Well, we talk about this, me and David. Like, it doesn't matter what your skill of the team. Like, everything is commitment, and it's like if they are underscored like 0, 2, 3 or something, like, it doesn't matter. You should always give it until the final whistle. You should always play the best game you have.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if you lose, you can at least say that I played for all 20 minutes. I hate players that stop playing when it stands 17, 15, and they look at the locker room door like, can I go out? I want them to lose at least with some dignity and passion. Or else they can go home.
Just like the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah. So if I had the chance to sit at the KeyBank Arena, I could and sit there and bleed. But I will always be their supporter.
That's David's motto.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but I think that's the beauty of any sport, not only hockey. You know, if you love it, then give it your all. Because I think you know, whatever team you got, if you have earned the place to play in a team, show the ones that look at you that you love it. Otherwise, you can give it to somebody else. So that's my opinion about it. Even if you play in the NHL or in the second league in Germany, somebody have fighted for that place, and they should have it if they have fighted. So.
Sorry, we didn't mean to point out Manchester Storm. Maybe they will win everything.
We love you, Manchester.
We love you.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah.
But you're not going to win, but we love you.
Yeah. So we have Sheffield Steelers, we have Coventry Blaze, and we have Sheffield Steelers. Two Sheffield Steelers, and in your heart you wish for Nottingham.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
so
nice.
That's great. That's great. Do you have many friends, Hayden, that have the same passion for ice hockey in UK as you?
Not really, actually. I mean, I've got my co-host of the podcast, Chris. He actually, it's an interesting story how we first met. He was actually a subscriber to my channel. Is how he first found out about me and was like, oh, I love your stuff. And he invited me down. Well, I say down. He invited me up to Nottingham to go and help commentate a game that he was commentating one day. And then from there, we've just we're kind of like go-to hockey guys. Like we've been doing podcasts together on and off for the last 3 years, something like that. So yeah, it's just like he's kind of like my go-to. I don't really have many kind of hockey friends. I kind of sit there and just enjoy it in my own time, I guess.
Yeah.
But then again, it doesn't help that I don't live near the arena, and I don't. Obviously, where I live, hockey isn't a big thing here at all. The amount of times I've bored my girlfriend talking about hockey, I feel sorry for her. I really do, because I'll be sitting there and in this tournament he scored 6 points, and she'll be like Hayden, that's nice, but I don't care. I'll be like, but you should care, because the Spengler Cup is an important tournament that's been going for almost 100 years, and you need to appreciate the historical significance.
Sounds like story of
It sounds
David's
like
life.
breakfast I have with my wife. My wife says I just want to enjoy my coffee.
and then you're sitting there upset because Buffalo lost again. It was like, if they just scored that goal last night, if the referee didn't give us a tripping penalty. She's like, I just want my coffee, David, please.
Yeah. So answers, and I don't know if she actually have heard what I said, but she said, okay, that's fine. Yeah, of course. So. But anyway,
But it's beautiful to
it's really
respect
great to be able to talk hockey like this. Super great. But Hayden, what if I have another question considering British hockey?
Sure.
Do you believe we was talking about it earlier that the CIHL have helped hockey in UK to progress and get larger and have a bigger group of interest?
I think that's a really good question, actually. I think the two things over the last couple of years that have helped somewhat, I think they've been the biggest helps in terms of growing the overall exposure and the brand of Great British Ice Hockey. The Champions Hockey League, definitely. I think Cardiff taking part in it year in, year out has helped. I think Nottingham going through to the playoffs helped, certainly in the Nottingham area. But I think also Team Great Britain returning to the top flight of the IIHF World Championships has been a big thing, and not only staying up there, or not only making it up there, but staying the 2019 tournament. I feel like that's the biggest one, I think, if you ask me, because I mean, what better way to show that like we're a legitimate force in the sport than by going head to head against the best of the best and managing to hold your own to the point where you secure yourself a position there next year. So and obviously there's no relegation this year as far as I'm aware, because of the tournament's been very up in the air, and because being held in Riga, it was meant to be held in Minsk, and of course there was all of that situation. That was fun. And yeah, so I think I think, are we one of the most competitive teams out there? No, of course we're not. Like, we very much know we're the underdogs. We very much know that, you know, we're not. I kind of like that for our team, because, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the video after Team GB beat France in 2019 and they started chanting, like, we're shit and we know we are. You know, like our team, the players that were on the ice started chanting that to each other. Like, you've got to have like a certain level of self-awareness to be able to do that, right? Yeah. And the fact that like they know that, like, come on, we've just been like completely destroyed by Team Canada, which has Connor McDavid and all these other high-profile NHL stars. Like, we're just some guys that play during our season. A lot of them have second jobs during the off season. Like, they're not full-time guys that have off-season trainers and really strict diets or training regimes. They're guys that play it because they love it and are good enough to earn a decent chunk of change doing it. And the fact that, like, we went up against those other teams, like the French team, they're very much in the same position as us, to be fair, but a guy like Alexander Texier on their roster, he's an NHLer. Antoine Roussel, he's an NHLer. We don't even have that, you know? So the fact that we were able to beat them and stay in the tournament, you know, that, I think that did wonders for helping the exposure. Obviously, we've still got a long way to go in terms of making it like a legitimate sport within this country that's well known and kind of widespread across the country. Obviously, the expenses that come with playing hockey and upkeeping hockey rinks and stuff is a huge factor into that. But yeah, I think the Champions Hockey League and some of our teams actually starting to do relatively well. Not necessarily making it through to the playoffs, but putting up a good fight, winning a couple of games here and there, not being defeated 6-0 every single group game. And the World Junior, or not World Junior Championships, the World Championships, getting us to the top flight again. They've been the two biggest factors in terms of helping increase the exposure over the last like 3-4 years.
But I about British hockey, I have a thought that I think is Swedish people in general, if they look at the British Hockey League compared to, for example, the Norwegian, I feel that it's very much in the later years now that Swedish players have gone to England more than they have done before. So the interest for the league, not only for Americans or Canadian hockey players, also, as I said, Swedish have grown.
Absolutely. And I think the best kind of comparison I have for anybody that's thinking, like, so what kind of level is the Elite Ice Hockey League in terms of the global, like, hockey world? Like, where does it kind of rank? I would say it ranks roughly the same place as the East Coast Hockey League in North America, which is obviously the third tier of pro hockey within North America. Kind of there, the like you mentioned, the Norwegian League, the Fjordkraft Ligaen, and kind of like lower tier leagues, and the DL2 I think is a better comparison compared to the DL1, because the DL is above, like it's certainly got better talent, a better talent pool and better overall play. But the DL2, we have a lot of players that have been going over there over the last couple of years. Like we've had a handful of guys in the last couple of seasons that have spent years in the DL2. So we've obviously got guys of that caliber. Maybe it's our much better players. We might only have a handful of them, but you only need a handful of players to make up a Team GB roster. So, and also getting the chance to play against some teams from higher levels of competition. Like, for example, we had just before the World Championships it might have been just before the World Championships in 2019, actually. We played, Team Great Britain played a couple of games against Torpedo Nizhny Novgorod of the KHL. There's a couple of friendly games that were played. And I think we also played against Dynamo Riga as well. We might have done.
Yes, I saw that. I have seen it.
Exactly. So playing against those teams, they might not be icing their best rosters. It's obviously not a regular season or a playoff game for them. They might be playing a lot of youngsters, but we're talking about some of the best youngsters in the world.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're getting to play against some of those guys, the end result doesn't really matter. But we're starting to make a bit of a mark in the European hockey world and in the hockey world in general. It's slow going, it's baby steps, but we're getting there, and that's the most important thing. We're taking steps forward.
Yeah. I think now I don't mean that what we do now is going to be the biggest change, but I think if everybody do something, that's help not only the British league but all the small leagues. To get up the interest and actually see the players that play in it, because I think many players tend to be forgotten, as you said before. When they change the league and when they come back, you can have a guy playing in Sheffield Steelers coming to Hockeyallsvenskan, and at the first time he play again in Sweden, he's like a person that they know. But when he played for Sheffield, he was like, "Oh, did he play there?"
Yeah.
No. So I mean, when I talk, Martin, we can talk British hockey, for example, but many other friends doesn't know so many. They maybe know Nottingham and Sheffield, but if I say 5 Flyers, they say, "What is that?" So,
which is really funny, because they're one of the oldest teams in the country. They were they were set up in 1920 or 36, I believe. So they're a team with a storied history and a lot of success in their organization. Like the fact that they're certainly kind of in the middle of the pecking order in the elite league right now. So the fact that they haven't necessarily had any recent success means that to the wider hockey world, not many people know who they are. Obviously, the elite league is lower down the pecking order anyway. So the fact that some people from other countries that aren't necessarily die-hard, live-breathe hockey know about some of our teams, that's a step forward in the right direction, right? Especially Nottingham and Sheffield, they're teams that have played in the Champions Hockey League. That's probably a big reason as to why people across Europe know who these teams are, or because they've had players from their league go and play there. So
yes. So, but it feels super great to have this to being able to start this series of UK streaming series, and that you could be the first guest. So,
Thank you.
So we can begin to make the change, and the knowledge of this sport in your country wider and bigger.
Because for me and David, as Swedes, from a country that's pretty big hockey-wise, it's I don't know if you say we feel responsibility, but it feels like you can bring in enlightened people. They know the Swedish league and NHL obviously, but the English league, for example, it's not common knowledge in the same way. So but since we love hockey everywhere, we want to bring knowledge into Swedish hockey too, for example.
And for most of all, we want to show that it is quality, you know. So we don't
Yeah.
just want to show the league for the league. We want to show the players. Then
Exactly,
we are
that's my
at the
point
point
too.
again.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
want to show the stars and the players, the actual players.
Yeah,
So
that's what people
it's
don't
not
know.
like we want to show an exotic perspective. We want to
Yeah.
show they are athletes that work hard every day to perform and do their best.
I think the most important thing regarding that is to remember that a player in the Norwegian league or the German DEL2 or the Elite League or the ECHL is still better than 95% of anybody that's ever played hockey.
Yeah.
Like anybody that's ever laced up the skates, they are still better than you. Like, obviously, us as fans like to sit there and be like, oh my God, this guy sucks. He has like 4 points in the last 53 games. Oh, he's such a terrible hockey player. Like, he's still better than
You.
Yeah.
I've never
Like-
played the sport.
Like that's
I've never played the sport, so like,
that's one
you
thing
know?
that I think about
Yeah.
sometimes. Actually, like, would you do better yourself? People that.
no,
that
exactly.
say
Like,
so.
I wouldn't. I can't even skate. I'd do a
Oh,
terrible
I didn't
job.
mean you, Hayden. I'm thinking strictly general now.
No, but you're right. I wouldn't do any better.
Oh, I wouldn't know anything about. Oh,
He can stand in goal.
Yeah, I won't make any saves, but I'll stand in goal.
oh, you can. Yeah.
But it's anyway really fun to do this, and it was really great that you wanted to be our guest.
Yeah.
And you said it before, so I had a question if you have any favorite team in Sweden.
Oh, I think I've got. So this is something that I've added to my bucket list recently. Because could I ask the question first, like your guys' SHL teams? Because I didn't ask that before we started.
Right. Yeah.
You can begin.
Go ahead.
Martin.
No, but Hayden said something earlier about
Okay.
something for him. We should do something for him. Maybe you want to present it, Hayden?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, we can do that now. I was just curious to know your guys' SHL teams.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay.
I guess-
I'm sorry. I misunderstood. Like our teams, our favorite teams.
No worries. Yes, exactly.
My team is Färjestad BK from Karlstad.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
that's
Okay, good
if
team.
that pronunciation makes sense, Färjestad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
the Swedish.
That's the
from us.
Swedish.
Yes. Yeah.
That's my favorite team from my whole life since I was a kid. I'm from that town.
I mean,
And-
they're a good team.
Yeah.
And it's my rivals.
Oh.
So, so David, which are yours?
I was. I've grown up in the part where Färjestad is from almost my whole life, but I've never held on Färjestad, never in my life. My favorite team is Frölunda.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So my father is from Gothenburg, so I was born there, and when I was growing up here in Värmland, I always knew that I was born in Gothenburg. So I decided to, as I do with every team, that my team will be Frölunda. So they haven't always been so great that they are today. So when I was younger, I had a really hard time
What is it with you, David? What is it with you picking teams that aren't doing very well?
Yeah, but it's like I love them even more, you know.
You
feelings
just love to
get-
suffer, David. That's it, isn't it?
But
It makes him the
coming
fire
into
Yeah.
which teams we like, I actually have a present for you, Hayden.
Oh, okay.
I know that you have that you collect something.
I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have a jersey for you.
You're kidding.
Yeah, no. I have a Swedish hockey jersey. Wait just a moment, I will get it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, all right. Yeah, David's getting. I think there's something there in the background. Maybe that's what he's getting.
Okay then. I was not.
this is a replica of, I think, a 1940 Västra Frölunda.
Nice.
So it's red on the sides, and
That's
that's
beautiful.
V Frölunda.
Can you take it
That's such a
bit
nice
back,
jersey.
David? Or can you take it a bit more back?
Yeah. Can you see
Can you
it?
see the hole? Yeah, from 1940.
Can you see it?
Yeah, we
can I
can
see it?
see
Can I
we
see
can
it?
see it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so that's for you, Hayden. I think he's trying to get you into his team.
No, see,
Yeah.
it's funny you mentioned that actually, because one of the bucket list things that I've wanted to do is go to Gothenburg to watch a Frölunda game.
Oh.
Because obviously they've completely dominated the Champions Hockey League for years and years and years, and Chris and I always call it the Frölunda Cup instead of the Champions Hockey League because they win it every single year. And yeah, I've been really interested to because I've never been to Sweden before, and I'd love to go to Gothenburg. I've always had this dream, and it's never going to happen, but I've always had this dream where I would have the opportunity to basically travel to all the different like major hockey countries and go and watch like a regular season game in every single one. I'd love to do like a video series on that or something where like I've been to Zurich and watched a KHL World game there. So I got to see the best league in Europe essentially go and play because I'm a big SK St. Petersburg fan. So I got to go and see them play against Dynamo Riga in the Zurich Lions arena, the Hallenstadion, which was a great experience. That was 3 years ago now, almost 3 years ago now, which is crazy. I want to like go see a game in Sweden. I want to see a game in Finland. I've never been to those countries before. I want to go see a game in the Czech Republic. I want to go see a game like Germany and France. Like, I'd love to do like a series. Like, I'd love it if it could be like one of those, like TV documentary style videos or like series, like I just love that and kind of like at the same time also kind of get a bit of a view into the local culture and like interesting facts about the city themselves.
If you go to Gothenburg, maybe we should get together, all three of us, and go to that game at Frölunda. I can be up for that, even, even if it's not my team.
Martin lives in Gothenburg.
I live there.
So.
No way!
I live in
that's
Gothenburg.
awesome.
Yeah.
So when the time is better, you bring this, and I have my Frölunda shirt, and we go and see against Färjestad.
Against Färjestad, and I bring my Färjestad shirt.
Yeah, perfect. As long as David, you aren't a bad luck charm, they end up losing 6-0. We'll be fine.
Nah. I'll be fine with that. I'll be fine.
But I will. If you can tell me how I can send this.
Yeah, sure. We can absolutely figure this out after we record. No worries. Thank you so much, man. That's really nice of you.
Well,
you also get some. See here if I can show it.
Some merchandise, maybe.
Oh,
Guy, you're giving me the royal treatment here. I just came on here to talk.
Down, David.
Hockey Fever stickers.
Down. Turn it around.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah. So.
Stickers.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah?
Love them. They look great.
And you also get this.
Oh no.
It's a what to say?
It's it called a scarf? You put it around your
scarf. Scarf. Yeah.
A Frölunda scarf.
Oh man, he's getting you into the team.
Nice.
Oh man.
Wow.
Of course.
You're bribing me to be a Frölunda fan, and I love it.
Yeah.
Did you have a?
I was thinking the Frölunda Indians actually, but like so this couldn't have gone better. I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of perfect for me. Can I actually ask a question regarding Frölunda? I'm very curious to know because I know that there's been some discussion about them changing their name and their logo for next season. Is that correct? Like, what's the latest update regarding that? Obviously, you're a lot keyed up with it more than I am. So, what's like the latest discussions?
I have actually not heard of anything for a very, very long time. But what I heard was that they are going to go back to before they called Västra Frölunda.
Okay.
Like the West Frölunda.
Oh, okay, interesting.
like the city name.
I see. Okay,
yeah.
so what would be their nickname? Because it's obviously the Frölunda Indians at the moment, so it's the Frölunda what?
Isn't that unclear?
They actually before they just had no specific nicknames, but
Okay.
they played Indian hockey. Many players said because
Right. Okay.
they played not so organized, but with a lot of speed, and they were coming really hard and counter-strike against the other team.
I remember reading about that when I saw the press release saying that Frölunda were thinking of changing their name and logo. That's really interesting. I like that. I like that there's a history behind it. You know.
Yeah. And I'm one of the persons that have wanted to go back to the old because of I have so much childhood memories.
Of course, yeah.
So I really like the V and the F as you saw, but from the 80s, like that was the best shirt. I really liked it. I really like it. So
nice.
You know, when I saw, now we get really deep, but when I saw Frölunda the first time, I had gone to football before, soccer, but it was nothing compared to hockey. Like
you're right.
I was 90 minutes of people yelling that little ball.
But believe me, in a country like England, football is everything, and I hate it.
Yeah. So when I saw the speed and the intense parts, I was like, this is the sport. This is the thing.
Good choice.
I gotta say, I'm open for everything. I like football too, but hockey is better. We just.
I'm kidding.
I'm in the wrong channel for this.
Yeah. This is the hockey fever.
What is this, soccer fever?
What?
Come on.
Soccer fever. I'm sorry, it must have been a misunderstanding here.
But as I said, it feels really great that we had this opportunity to get together and talk hockey.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We know that you're
Yeah.
really busy too with your own videos, so we really appreciate it, and we're so glad that you wanted to do this with us.
Oh no, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. It's really kind of you. Thanks.
Yeah, and hope that we hope that you will see the other parts of the UK streaming, and
Of course.
we will put it out on our social medias, and so we talk to the other guests, but they have still games to play and things to do, so we just wait for the specific date to get finalized.
Yeah. But we'll
so
get back to
it's playoff days, so
the exciting time of the year.
Yeah.
It's
Love
like,
it. Love good playoff hockey.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the best spring sign.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I have some last questions actually. Have you seen the other series in UK? This streaming series where Sheffield Steel Dogs and Swindon Wildcats and
Spring Cup, I believe it is. I think that's the name of it. I must admit, I haven't seen too much of it because it always seems to be on. Because first of all, I think they've been charging for the webcasts, for the live streams. And I'm not a fan of. Oh, it's not that I'm not a fan, but I don't follow any of the teams in the tournament, so I'm not 100% dedicated to it, invested in it. And also, it happens to always be on when I'm like in the process of like recording or editing my videos, which is like it because it's always like a like kind of early evening at the weekends, and that I'm always usually making my Sunday video, because for those of you who don't know, I don't make my videos really far in advance. Like I record them basically one after the other, you know, like so I'll record my Thursday video on a Wednesday and then try and get it out by the end of the night Thursday. So it's very much like the turnover is one after the other because there's lots of writing, research and editing and recording and stuff involved, as I said earlier. So it's all very much like just me. I don't have anybody else working for me. So unfortunately, like those times is like right when I'm in the like really like deadline bit of getting my video edited, rendered, ready to upload. So no, I haven't caught many of the games. I've been keeping an eye on like the scores. I saw that Liam Kirk did really well in the tournament. A lot of Steel Dogs did very well, scoring a lot of points in that tournament. So that should help them when they play in the Elite League series. So yeah, it looked like a lot of fun, and it seemed the response from fans was really good, and that's the most important thing at the end of the day. So it's good.
Yeah, I followed Steel Dogs a bit because I thought that O'Connell's, but he I don't remember when the last game is in the Spring Cup, because it was a other cup before it. It was the streaming series.
Yes, so those games were essentially just a chance to test the lower leagues to see if they could run hockey in this country. It was kind of like a few friendly games. Yeah, I remember that streaming series. That was a couple of months back now. Yeah.
But I thought it was like exciting to see, and I saw not, but I only saw the Steel Dogs games.
Okay, nice.
Because I wanted to follow to see if O'Connor specifically did go to the Steelers.
You know, Ben O'Connor almost ended up in the KHL a couple of years ago. The Kazakhstan team, because he here's an interesting story. Ben O'Connor, one of his years, he'd taken a bit of a break from the EIHL, and he was playing in Kazakhstan for a year. He actually had a pretty successful year, and then it turned out that the owner of that team or someone within that organization was in charge of basically signing players or whatever. And I can't remember exactly the relationship they had, but however it turned out, he actually got a contract with a KHL team, and he would have been our first British player playing in the KHL this year, or that year. It must have been like the 17-18 season, maybe the 16-17 season, something like that. But unfortunately, there was the new owners were like, no, and they decided to terminate his contract before he even got a chance to suit up for the team. So that was a real shame, because we could have had a guy playing in the KHL. Whether he would have succeeded there, obviously, is another story. He obviously came and played in Sweden for... who did he play for? That's it, Leksand. Yeah, that's it.
But he would have been your first player in the KHL, nevertheless. But then, well, I didn't know that story either.
I was quite surprised to find out he got the contract with the KHL team. Then I was equally surprised to find out there was terminated before he even got a chance to play for him. So, hockey's a strange business. At the end of the day, it is a business, though, isn't it? So,
yeah. But
did you want to, Hayden? Did you have another question, David?
No. I just actually was going to ask the same question that you asked.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, Hayden, did you want us to help you with some pronunciations?
Yes. So for those of you listening, I spoke to Martin and David just before we started streaming, recording, or whatever, and I mentioned to them that me, as a British person that's never been to Sweden, is not familiar at all with the Swedish language. For context, when we're in school, it's always French or German. They're always the languages you learn. Maybe Spanish if you're feeling a little bit spicy, but not the kind of Scandinavian languages or anything further north. It's always head down south or somewhere to the east, you know? Yeah. So I've got no experience with Swedish. And obviously I talk about Swedish teams quite a lot in some of the videos that I make, whether it be about the Swedish Hockey League or anything like that. So David, Martin, I need your help. I need you to help me learn how to pronounce these names properly, so I don't get several different people in the comments telling me off because I'm doing it wrong.
Okay.
It's perfect mission for us. We would love to help you out.
Thank you.
Should we just go?
Should we go for all teams in SHL, just from start to finish?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay, you want to go, David?
Yeah,
Maybe.
take it The first,
Go easy on me, guys.
Brynäs.
So it's Brynäs.
Brynäs.
Brynäs. Okay.
Brynäs IF.
So the I sound is like an E sound. So it's like Brynäs EF.
Yeah.
Okay, Brynäs.
I is the letter is pronounced E. So
I've learned something new today.
right.
There we go.
Like random, but there you go.
Then you
Today
take
again.
the next one.
Brynäs EF.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
look at me.
Yeah.
I'm basically Swedish now.
Hayden.
Yeah.
Oh, that will come over and over. Like EF is pretty common. But okay, go, David. Next one.
Next one. Yeah. Djurgårdens IF.
Ah, so that's how you pronounce that one. Because I've always been saying it Djurgården.
Okay. But it's
So how do you say that again?
Djurgårdens IF.
Djurgårdens.
Yes.
Maybe we
EF.
should say this
Boom.
first. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but there's 3 letters in Swedish that are not there in English. The last 3 of the Swedish alphabet. Do you know those? Do you know that it is like that?
No, I don't.
You know? It's
No.
and
you say
Djurgården is part of this. It's Å, Ä, Ö. So Å, Ä, Ö.
Okay.
And that's first 2 are A with a ring. A with a ring on top. And then there's A with 2 dots on top. And then there's the O with 2 dots on top. And Djurgården is Djurgården. So in the middle is the O.
With the A, with the
So
yeah, because I've noticed the spelling of it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why,
Djurgården,
and that's
yes.
when they translate everything to English or any language, they just take away the
Right.
top there. So that's why it's
Interesting,
called
okay.
Djurgården, yeah. So some people
Interesting, okay.
will say Djurgården maybe or something, but it's Djurgården.
Yeah, that's how I usually pronounce it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
And the next team, HV71.
Difficult one.
You're gonna have to say that one again.
That's the tricky one you took there, David.
HV.
so which one's this?
It's actually.
I'm trying to think of which.
Yeah, it feels like a trick question. It's HV71.
Oh, HV71. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was trying to think, like, is that the one that David's thinking of? Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
HV71.
Well, yeah. It's just spelled like.
Can I just get away with HV71 on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get away with that because
Say the
that's
Swedish.
what it is. It's just the letters spelled but
Okay,
in Swedish,
perfect.
so you can spell them in English.
You know
I
what?
think that's
That'll
fine.
be my easy one. I'll take that.
Yeah. I gotta note which teams we have. Should we go through them all? Really?
Yeah.
Or do you want that, Hayden?
I would love that. I mean,
Yeah.
we can just blitz through them quickly. I'll try and pronounce them once, then we
Okay,
can move
let's
on to
try
the
it
next one. We
quick.
don't have to take too much time with them, not at all.
Yeah. Brynäs, Djurgården,
Djurgården.
HV71.
Yes. Should we say?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Did you learn that from us, Hayden? Yeah.
The next team is Malmö Redhawks.
Also, it's Malmö.
Malmö.
Malmö. Okay, because obviously with the O sound, I think it's Malmö. Is that because that has the
Yeah.
different letter at the end?
It's the 2 dots of
The
the
O.
over
Right.
the O.
Got it. Okay, Malmö. Okay, so it's the Malmö Redhawks.
Malmö Redhawks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Nice.
Then we
Why don't you take your team again, David?
Yeah.
We got the same
I
letter
need to learn
there
this
too.
one.
Frölunda.
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 Yeah.
Frölunda. Yeah, okay, that's pretty similar to how I've been pronouncing it. I usually say like Frölunda, which
And
is
you know,
close.
when you are when you are a fan like me, when we talk about the team, we never like the Indians. We just say Frölunda.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So that's the most normal way we pronounce
Frölunda.
it. Yeah.
Nice.
Frölunda.
Okay, awesome.
Next one,
And
Färjestad.
the next
Färjestad.
Färjestad.
Färjestad. So you don't pronounce the D at the end. It's Färjestad.
Actually,
Yeah. Färjestad.
I think the official way to say is Färjestad, but we don't. Färjestad.
No one talks like that.
No one talks like that. Exactly.
Okay. No Swedes says it like that.
Färjestad. Okay,
Yeah,
Färjestad. Got it. Okay.
You
Färjestad.
say Färjestad. Yeah.
Okay. We have another one. Skellefteå.
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 Yeah.
Interesting. So that's how you pronounce that, Skellefteå. Because I've been saying like Skellefteå.
Actually, you gonna say Skellefteå AIK.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Skellefteå AIK.
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 I think the letters.
Okay.
I think the letters is
Skellefteå.
fine in English though, David, because they're just pronounced in
I
Swedish
just want to
letters.
learn.
Yeah. No worries, guys.
Okay.
Skellefteå. So it's not Skellefteå, it's like Skellefteå.
It's
Okay, interesting.
The sh sound in the beginning there.
Of course, yeah, of course it is.
Skellefteå.
Nice.
And should I take the next?
Yeah, if you, yeah.
Luleå.
Luleå. Luleå. Because we've been saying, Chris and I on our podcast, I've been saying like Luleå or Luleå.
Okay, no, that.
So it's Luleå.
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 Because you can't tell if there's
Okay.
because there's normal A's of course as well, but you can't tell if there's an A.
Yeah,
A
see,
or-
because where we look at like the standings, we use like one website that has like all the standings of all the different leagues, and I don't think it has. I'd have to double check, but I don't think it has any of the specific letters,
No.
like Swedish letters. I think it just like all normalizes it to like
yeah.
like English, if you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
British English.
And
Luleå.
Luleå. Yeah.
Okay.
Luleå IF, is it not, David?
And yeah, I think. Yeah, Luleå EF.
I think. But
But
okay, most
I
important
think
is
as
Luleå.
Frölunda, everybody says Luleå.
Luleå. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, should
So-
we take a
So
tricky
the
one?
next team is Leksand.
Leksand.
Yeah.
Leksand.
That's
Leksand.
pretty much the same as I was saying it. So yeah,
that's-
that was an easy one. I like that one.
Okay, let's take a tricky one. Växjö.
Oh no!
Växjö.
Say that again.
Växjö.
Växjö.
Oh, good. I
Växjö.
think that's pretty good.
Växjö. Växjö.
Växjö. Oh God! Now my local
Växjö.
tongue comes out. What's it called? That actually, I'm not speaking 100% neutral Swedish.
That doesn't matter to me, Martin.
Oh, thank you.
Växjö all the way.
Oh man, I can hear my inspiration in your channel when you talk about that later.
Yeah, see, every time I'll be like Växjö, and you'll be like, "That was me. I did that."
That's my saying, you know. It's so nice.
You're gonna be like, we say it the same way. The exact
Yeah.
way.
It's like, oh, I know this. I know Swedish. Växjö.
Oh, that's so good.
So,
Do you know which team we're talking about, Hayden? Växjö?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I'm not sure. That one's thrown me off a little bit.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah.
It's
It's actually a really good team, top team, I have to say. Växjö.
it's
You actually, I think you know this player, Liam Redox. He played
Yes.
for the Belfast Giants.
Yes,
He's a strong personality, a strong profile for that club.
Nice. So yeah, because the pronunciation that we've always had for that is Växjö,
Yeah,
but it's Växjö.
Växjö.
yeah, Växjö.
Växjö.
Pretty
Got
close
it.
though.
Much better.
Okay. Växjö. Okay.
Because both the A and the O there is with the dots, so it's Växjö.
Got it. That's why.
Mm-mm.
Got it.
Can't think of
and-
anything.
and,
You go, David.
Yeah, I have Oskarshamns IK.
Yeah. Is Oskarshamn?
Oskarshamn
Oskarshamn. Okay. Yeah.
IK.
Yep. Equal. Okay. Nice. Yeah. That one we managed to figure out
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
closely.
Yeah, that should be pretty alright.
We kind of just took a gamble on that one. It's like, yeah, that sounds about right. Well, we'll go with that.
Yeah. So if we sum up, how many teams have we
1, 2,
said
3,
now?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is it 14? No.
And
16.
it's more.
It's 16. Man. I'm just thinking. Off the top
I
of
mean,
my head
I've got a nice group. If you guys wanted to stop there, if you want to continue, I'm all game too. Whatever's easiest for you guys.
now. See if
Yeah, but it's
I
nice
wanna
if you
get them
got the
all,
whole
but
league.
Should we? do you
Yeah,
have
I know. Rögle.
Oh.
Rögle.
Oh, Rögle.
Rögle, yes.
Rögle. Yeah, they've got a Champions Hockey League spot next year.
Yeah, they have.
Top of the league. They're doing very well for themselves.
Man,
Yeah, and they
Although I might say that Växjö are very close behind them.
they are.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
Look at me using my new
Yeah.
Swedish
Man,
lingo.
I love it.
Boom. Boom.
Yeah. That's, so,
Great.
that's amazing. Oh,
And
that's
we
my
have
biggest
also
impact there.
Linköping.
Oh yeah, go David.
Linköping. Yeah,
Linköping.
Linköping.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one we were pretty close with as well because we knew it wasn't going to be Linkopings. We knew
And,
Linköpings. Okay.
Yeah. Another
so
song. Linköping.
I think
That's most of them.
we have I think we have all the teams actually.
13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13 we got.
Sorry if I put you on the spot here, guys.
Yeah, but it's good.
No, that's
it's
fine.
Good. We say,
I
yeah,
love
we
this.
follow the league. And then we cannot say all the teams.
There's be this one team left in the corner like, what about me, guys?
Yeah.
We're here too. We're like 6th in the league. Come on, we're important.
Man, we gotta Google this quickly. SHL.
Frölunda. Yeah.
Frölunda is
Yeah,
there.
we've done
Exactly.
Frölunda.
Yeah.
Oh, this one, of
Frölunda.
course. Örebro.
Frölunda. Yes.
Örebro.
Örebro.
Örebro. That was the one.
Yeah.
The last
Örebro.
one. Örebro.
The first.
Yeah, we were saying Orbro.
Yeah,
So
the
Örebro.
So the,
Okay.
Yeah, the first.
They are really great team. Really good team.
They are, yeah. The first O is with 2 dots.
They
and the
got rid of
the last
Josh
one is
Hosang
normal.
earlier.
Yeah. And really much speed. And the arena there is the fans is really giving it all.
Nice. Okay.
So I have to say what they do really good. So if and they have really great players, of course. Have you heard of Robin Kovac?
I haven't. No, that's
Oh.
not a name that rings a bell.
He's a really great. You should looking up. He have played
Sure.
actually for Luleå before, but he plays for Örebro now, and many more others good
Nice.
players. Americans and Canadian players have also played in Örebro. Enroth, you know, actually old Buffalo goalie
Yes.
plays.
Yeah.
He plays in Örebro.
Okay then.
So-
I did not know that. I'm learning so much today, guys.
Man.
Thanks for the help.
We too.
Yeah.
No worries.
So he that's a pretty young team, but they have grown as a team really fast, I think, personally. So
Nice.
they bring much quality to the league, and
Nice.
I like the way of the hunger that they have when I look at the games. The
Nice.
passing game, the intensement, it's really great.
Yeah, the only thing I'd heard about them this season is that they had former New York Islander Josh Hosang on their roster, but now he's with HV71, I believe, who obviously aren't having a very good season.
No. He was like he's like having a really bad. He's like a Buffalo time.
Basically, like, I'm thinking about making a video at some point next month, doing like a 10 players list who actually played well in Buffalo, who actually played somewhere else in the league, went to Buffalo and actually ended up playing better in Buffalo than elsewhere, which, I mean, based on the stories we've seen recently, that might be a very short list, but we'll see.
But one of my favorites that I have liked is Reinhardt. Yeah, I really like him, and I know they have played really bad. They have a really bad record that no team wants, but
Yeah.
as I said before, I say it again, I cannot stop cheering them on.
I've got to stop bullying you over loving the Buffalo
Yeah.
Sabres there, David.
The loyalty.
And
the loyalty.
And I also one of my childhood favorites was Thomas Vanek. You know,
Of
the
course,
Austrian
good
player.
choice. Good
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah, and I also like when Miroslav Satan played for.
Of course.
Yeah, so
They had a good
it's-
team back in the day.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I really would like to go to KeyBank Arena sometime.
Nice.
Yeah. So maybe did you see the game when New York Rangers played at the Mets Arena against Buffalo?
Yes, yeah, the 2018 Winter Classic.
Yeah. And,
Yeah, it was a good game.
I think Robert Lehner stood in the goal for Buffalo.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that was the Winter Classic before the Rangers completely blew up the roster. It was about a month later they sent that letter to their fans being like, we're going to rebuild this roster, so expect all of your favorite players to be gone in the next couple of years. It was like, okay.
Yeah.
And here we are.
But
I've just seen a notification on my iPad telling me that Eric Stahl has been traded to the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for a 3rd and 5th round draft pick.
Okay.
That's not a bad return for Eric Stahl considering the season he's had.
No.
But I mean, Eric Stahl's a solid player. It would have been nicer if he worked out in Buffalo.
Yeah. Everybody had thought they should have thought. I hope that they can do something different with some really good. Of course, they wanted that all from the beginning, but
Yes.
it feels like they need big changes now. Right?
Yes, they do.
So they really got some good players, but it's about how they should play together and
Exactly.
which one that should lead the group.
Martin, sorry to cut you off. Did we get through all of the teams?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we did.
Okay.
We did.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
Maybe
I just
that
wanted
was
to
the
check.
last one.
Just wanted to check.
So we got everything
No,
cleared.
no worries,
so
no worries. I just wanted to
you
check.
are all set, Hayden.
I'm officially
Yep.
Swedish.
Yep.
Certified.
Honorary Swedish citizen.
Yeah.
Of Man
Should
Rush.
get it- we should send you a diploma too with a jersey.
With the years, yeah. Full-time Frölunda fan, part-time Swede.
Oh man, this is
Yes.
bad.
And whoever said bribery didn't work?
I don't know
Only
how to.
good intentions, you know.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well-
it's really great. The best game I think actually in SHL to see is Frölunda against Färjestad. It's so much feelings.
Nice.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
feelings. We've
I'll
been
have to
watching
catch one
games.
one day.
Me and David
Yeah.
been watching games, and yeah, it's a lot of feelings. It's like the rivalry, like Frölunda.
Yeah,
Färjestad
of
has.
course, of
But,
course.
Yeah.
The best
build
part
up
about
and
hockey
everything.
is the rivalries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's great.
Yeah.
I really love it.